welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra. This is Market Today. Also joining in with me is Shell Patnagar, a show where we'll help you understand the closing action on the D Street. The Nifty has inched higher towards the highest point of the day. If you look at the kind of move that we are seeing, it's a 0.6% of a surge. It's hovering around 22,280 odd levels. All the sectors of the Nifty are actually into the green. Large parts of moves are coming in towards the latter half, especially in the consumer durable space. This index has inched up higher by about 2.5% odd. Along with this, it's the PSU banks that are also making stronger strides, 2.5% higher for this one as well. Realty and pharma spaces are other sectors that are actually supporting the market sentiment, along with the mid and the small cap space that's up by about 0.6% odd in trade. Strong surge being seen on specific stocks like Eicher Motors, BPCL, Hero Moto, Tata Consumer Products, Axis Bank. These are the top movers as far as the Nifty is concerned. Shell.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a fine morning as far as bulls are concerned on the Lal Street. If you look at the broader advance decline ratio, it's bulls that are ruling the roost as far as sentiment is concerned. About 1,620 shares in the green compared with just 500 in the red. We track 19 indices for you, all 19 of them in the green, and the action seems to be there in the mid-cap space. If you look at how prices have moved on stocks such as Voltas, 6.5% higher, 1385. Very strong volumes coming in, 76 lakh shares traded, which is about 280%. It's a 5-day average. Apart from that, you have the entire real estate space buzzing fairly well. Macrotech developers, better known as Lodha, is at 1,200 rupees, 2.5% higher. Very strong volumes, 2x 5-day average coming in. What is also ticking is the entire market in terms of the PSU counters. We track 78 PSUs for you, ladies and gentlemen, and it was IREDA, the renewable energy financing company from the government of India, that started a very strong up move after sterling set of numbers. The counter is still up about 6.8% at 171. Very heavy volumes of about 54 lakh shares, and of the 78 stocks that we track for you within the PSU space, about 68 of them are in the green. So it's an across the board rally which is coming in as far as prices are concerned within the within the PSU basket. What else is moving? Let's look at stocks that have hit all-time high as far as the NSE 500 are concerned. There are about 22 of them. So that goes on to show how moves are getting channelized into record highs. Geo Finance, post earnings, fresh record high, 3.5% higher, 383. Voltas we've just discussed. Stocks such as Siemens and Eicher Motors are in fairly good shape, and then you have the usual suspects such as Hindustan Aeronautics, KPIL, Mahindra and Mahindra, National Aluminium, Jindal Steel and Power, and of course JSW Energy. Sakshi, this is the broad view on how the markets are moving, and it's accompanied by a very sharp rise in volume, a decent rise in price, and of course the risk on sentiment is back on the Lal Street after a terrible last week.
Absolutely. One important, important information that I want to pass on as far as Vodafone Idea is also concerned. Remember, today the issue closes the FPO, and up until now, at around 2:30 p.m. or so, I have the details of the kind of subscription that we have seen on this one. It has sailed through. 3.3 times is what the FPO subscription figures are. The QIB portion has been oversubscribed by 8.7 times. The NII portion has been oversubscribed by 2.6 times, but it's the retail portion that's only subscribed 0.5 times as of now. We'll continue to watch out for as to towards the end how much move do we see over here, but the total issue has been successfully subscribed, so that is a takeaway. Retail portion still lacking, half odd times is what the subscription figures stand as of now. A lot of other movers as far as the consumer durables are concerned. Remember, the move started off with Voltas in the morning. We had discussed this stock as well with our guests talking about the technical and the fundamental aspect and the outlook on this one as well. 6.8% higher for this one. Remember at 12 p.m. we also were speaking to Avni Bhatt, and she talked about Tata Consumer Products as a top pick. And right now, if you see, it's one of the top movers on Tata Consumer. And again, at 2.3% higher, this stock is also moving strongly. Havells has inched to the day's high point, 3.6% higher as well. That's another one that's moving very, very strongly. So those are the kind of moves that we are seeing as far as the consumer durable space is concerned. We are joined by Kush Kudasara now, a market expert. We'll be joined very, very shortly with him, and we'll ask him as to what his views are. All right, so we do have Kush Kudasara with us. Good afternoon, Kush. Thank you so much for taking the time out. First up, your view on what's really buzzing as far as consumer durable space is concerned. Are you looking to buy afresh amid this momentum in this space?
Good afternoon, and thank you for inviting me on the show. Definitely, consumer durable looks good to me, but for a long-term perspective. In short term, I'm still, if I look at the Nifty FMCG index, I'm still a little bit worried about this rally. Definitely, we are, witnessing some short covering in the market, but sustaining about today's high would be necessary for a rally to be considered as a long-term rally. Otherwise, this could be a technical pullback for downside momentum. So yes, definitely I'm positive on FMCG. Rather, if you are a long-term investor, start investing in FMCG stocks. My picks would be, ITC and Tata Consumer for the long term. I will buy on dips with the stop loss of 940 on Tata Consumer. Target is 1700 for investment, while ITC stop loss is 390 and targets are 700 plus. So I'm positive on the counter for long term, both the counters, but wait for a deeper correction to accumulate in a bulk.
Good afternoon to you, sir. Let's also analyze how the markets are shaping up, Kush. Anything in the large cap space that catches your fancy? I was just very keen to find out your view on Eicher Motors, already at record highs, but strong development happening on price as well as open interest as far as futures are concerned. What are the charts telling you? Is this a momentum worth chasing?
Definitely on Eicher Motors, I think this momentum is worth chasing, because 10-day moving average, if I talk about technically, 10 days moving average, which is currently around at 43.20, has been acting as strong support since the start of April. So definitely with the stop loss of 43.20, one can hold on the existing position, but fresh position can be carried on can be initiated on a little bit of correction, because already we are witnessing 3% of move today. So yes, hold on the existing short-term position, but fresh position only on some dip.
Okay. Kush, also your view on Hind Copper. Very, very strong uptick in price. We are up about 4%. And if you look at the open interest, I haven't seen this kind of an activity, 36% higher in futures as far as open interest is concerned. Although the stock has sort of deflated a bit from its morning high of 393. What are the charts telling you?
Definitely, charts are suggesting that this is a fresh breakout, because last week, we witnessed some consolidation between 349 to 369. Definitely, we have seen a good breakout today morning. We are a little bit, at subdued level since the morning, but I think if one has initiated a BTST last week, one should hold with the stop loss of 369, which was a neckline breakout. I think we could achieve around 398 by the expiry. So fresh position can be avoided, because its risk reward ratio is not favorable, because we have a stop loss which is 10 rupees below. Fresh position risk reward is not favorable. But last week, if you created any position on futures, please hold the level stop for the target of 396 by the expiry.
Okay. A lot of other buzzing spaces again, and a lot of stocks that are actually inching higher in trade. Let me just share a few names. One is Vatek Wabag. If you track this stock, Kush, I want to understand from you, where do you see the stock headed? Why I'm talking about this is, our viewers will remember we were talking about election stocks when the first phase of voting started, we did talk about a few themes that were being talked of in the manifestos, and especially BJP manifesto, when they were focused on water-related stocks, water-related transformation that they want to bring about in the next 5 years if they come back to power. And our expert had talked about Vatek Wabag as his favorite election stocks, and you can see the stock headed now about 8.7% higher. Very strong move can be seen. Our viewers can go back to that video and see list of 5 top stocks that they had chosen for election space. But in the meanwhile, Kush, how do you see Vatek Wabag at 988?
Definitely, it looks strong because in last 4 trading session we have seen a rally from say around approximately 832 levels. But this interesting part is this rally with some volumes. Volumes are around 5 to 6x the average volume of last 3 months. So stock was trading in a strong upside channel, but we have witnessed a breakout on the upside, which is with heavy volume, which is a good sign. So I'm happy with the breakout, and I think the charts are suggesting a strong buy on weekly. So if you're a short-term investor for 2 to 3 months, if you want to play the momentum for this election, you can definitely bet on this stock. 940 should be your stop loss. Target in next 2 to 3 months could be around 1090. So almost 10 to 12% upside from the current levels.
Okay, so that's as far as Vatek Wabag is also concerned. A lot of other buzzing spaces. From the F&O space, I can look at Metropolis Healthcare. That's been showing some kind of a strong surge. Of course, the entire pharma and the healthcare pack, they're again in buzz. We were discussing it in the morning also, this entire theme. And right now, it's Metropolis Healthcare that's inching higher. How would you really look at this one? In the F&O space, it's the top mover today.
Definitely, it's a top mover, but I would avoid this stock because if you look at the charts in recent past, since January, we are seeing strong consolidation. On the downside, it's around 1620 is the support, while on the upside, it is resisting near 1790. So I think we should wait for this weekly closing. I don't see a strong momentum coming in short time. So avoid a fresh position if you already have a long position. You may hold it with a strict trailing stop loss at 1770, and you should exit around 1800. I don't think we are seeing more upside above 1800 in near term.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's do a detour into how price action is shaping up. Things are improving dramatically. The Nifty is at a fresh intraday high. We've just had 22,314. Remember, the first 15 minutes of trade had set the tone in terms of the day's high and low, and at about 2:46 p.m. We have a breakout that's come in. 22,321 was the day's high earlier, and now about 170 points higher. It's not as if it's just the Nifty kind of a move. We have many other indices at day's high, such as the Nifty small cap index, the Nifty mid cap index. All of them have moved in sync, and this is primarily on the back of a strong move coming in as far as the index heavyweights are concerned from ICICI Bank. Remember, this is the earnings boy, 1.7% higher, 1086 now. L&T 2.3% higher, 3600. Axis Bank 2.3% higher, 1053. Infosys and Reliance are also in the green. Collectively, they are contributing somewhere like 85 points. These 5 stocks in the green as far as Nifty is concerned. Mild profit booking in HDFC Bank, NTPC, JSW Steel, nothing to be worried about. Kush, coming to you, within the metal space, you've touched upon Hind Copper, but any view that you would have on Jindal Steel and Power and National Aluminium? Sadly, these are all stocks at record highs. There's nothing much we can do as far as price is concerned, but strong move coming in, especially in Jindal Steel and Power. Would you do a chart check?
Definitely, we have seen a good opening on Jindal Steel and Power. But if you look at the intraday charts or even a daily candle of today, which is yet in formation, it's a red candle, which suggests morning momentum has not been sustained. We are looking at some pressure. So definitely, I won't buy any fresh position in metal stocks today. if we close lower than the opening price. So, for example, Jindal Steel and Power had opened around 935 levels, and if we see closing around 900, then it would be a bearish pattern on the candlestick, and we may see some correction. So right now, it is looking good if you look at the price change and today's high, but not looking good on the charts unless and until we are closing about 935 today. So let's wait and watch for a day. Uh, I will only buy Jindal Steel and Power tomorrow if we close today at around 940. So I would avoid, and if you have already created some position and you are in profits in on a longer side, it would be safe to exit at current levels.
Okay, two stocks on the move within the PSU basket. Container Corporation of India doing a decent uptick at 947. This is the second day of gains, and the counter is moving on fairly sharp volumes. The other one is Indian Overseas Bank. After a period of rest in which the stock corrected from 82, 83 rupees all the way down to about 58, the counter is now inching up at about 63.40. Within the PSU basket, if you look at the Nifty PSU banking index, it's the top performing index as far as the price action is concerned, and 12 out of 12 stocks are in the green, led of course by Indian Overseas Bank, 3.5% higher. Sakshi.
Right. Let's also look at some of the other big movers in the Nifty 500 basket. A whole host of stocks that are inching higher in double digits. Premier Explosives up by 18% odd. Very strong move can be seen on this one. Apart from this, there is Tejas Networks that's also moving higher by about 17 odd percent at this current level of around 905. Very strong surge can be seen on this one too. Apart from this, the other one that I did see is TD Power Systems. That's also moving up very strongly, 12.6% higher. Sigachi Industries is another one that's moved up very, very strong, to about 11.5% higher in trade. BF Utilities is another one that's up by 10 odd percent. Any particular stocks from this list of names that are inching sharply higher in trade, Kush, that you also like?
Definitely, Tejas Network is a stock, which I like for a long-term bet. It was in a sideways momentum since last quite few weeks. But today, we have seen a breakout of a 200-day average, which is considered to be a good support and a breakout level for long-term investment. 820 is the level, and I definitely think, looking at the volumes, which are almost 10x of the last 10 days average, this momentum is going to sustain. So definitely, Tejas Network is a stock which I would, buy in for my long-term portfolio. Stop loss can be around 780 for the long-term basis. I think, weekly charts, this breakout activates targets of 1200 plus. So almost 35% upside from current levels. So definitely, I would bet on Tejas Network.
Okay, so you'll be strongly looking at Tejas Networks at this current level. In terms of sectors, Kush, which are the ones that are coming on top of your radar? Where do you see the next momentum to come in?
For the short term,
Yeah.
I think momentum in the short term, we could see in the auto sector. I feel auto sector could preferably do well in coming weeks. Tata Motors is on my radar. I would buy on Tata Motors about 985. So, currently I'm looking at upside breakout to buy rather than, buying at the lower levels because we are in a downside momentum. So, above 995, Tata Motors can be bought for the target of 1040.
Okay, so that's the view coming in on two T's, Tata Motors and Tejas Networks. These, of course, are stocks that belong to the Tata Group. What's also buzzing, which we failed to mention, we did mark it a bit. It was Larsen and Toubro. It's a very, very nice swing trade in the making. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 days of downtick and a beautiful swing in the making. 3605. Kush, what are the charts of LNT telling you? It's a fairly strong move that is likely in the coming days. Let me just see what is the open interest on L&T as far as prices are moving. Meanwhile, why don't you offer your view on L&T?
Definitely, like L&T, most of the Nifty 50 stocks and future stocks are giving a good pullback after 6 to 7 sessions of on an average a downside. But what I feel is, on the upside, all most of the Nifty strips and even the Nifty index is resisting near a 10-day average. We have a small resistance at 10-day average on all the stocks. So, this pullback can be a strong one. But whether it's a rally or a pullback, that would be defined after we see a move above 10 days average. So for L&T, 10-day average is around 3680 on the spot level. So unless and until we are crossing above 3680, I think this could be just a minor pullback and use this as a opportunity to exit the traps on the long side. Fresh longs are only advisable about 3750.
Okay, so that's the view coming in on L&T. And Sakshi, what's really interesting, another record high it seems on Indigo. No let up on prices as far as India's top carrier is concerned. No, there's still time for a record high. We are seeing 37.20. The all-time high is 38.30, which we saw about 5 days back. What else is clicking that marks attention in terms of good strong volumes coming in? There's so many stocks, but some of them I don't want to mention. Nevertheless, let's try and show you Patanjali. I think the counter is moving from its 200-day DMA. Yes, this is really exciting. And Kush, this goes out to you. 1462 as far as Patanjali Foods is concerned. What is your view?
Definitely, overall I'm positive on FMCG, but Patanjali has moved up after almost sideways of almost 25 sessions. So it's very difficult to trust this stock at first day of breakout. 200-day average is around 1400, and we have seen a move about 200 average after 25 sessions. So I would rather wait for a day or two of trading on the stock and then maybe pitch in for long term or short term. So currently, I would avoid the risk of getting into this stock.
Okay. On Zomato, what would your thought be? Kush, if you could tell us, the company has been constantly increasing ways to get profitable as far as the platform fee is concerned. It's seen the fourth time hike coming in now to 5 rupees. The last hike is of the tune of 25%. How would you really look at that? We did see some consolidation over the last few days as far as Zomato is concerned, but it was inching higher to all-time high levels, consistently moving up. Do you still feel that even at these levels, one can continue to add Zomato to their portfolio?
Definitely, Zomato is a good multi-bagger stock for a portfolio. As a disclosure, I have recommended this stock at around 85 to my clients and even in my family portfolio. I think Zomato is a new age stock, and we should invest in this new age IT stock. I've been tracking this stock since quite a long time. I have been a blogger before since 2010 on the Zomato, and a user for 2016. I see they are developing even a user side services, and I think Zomato is going to be a multi-bagger. It's just like if you're a cricket fan, old guys are going to retire and new guys are going to perform better. Just the way old ITs are going to perform, but new IT stocks are going to perform much better in the near future, and that is where you can multiply your investment. So I think Zomato is a good buy with a stop loss of 175 for a longer term. I think this stock could touch 450 by next 2 years.
450 by next few years. Okay, so that's the kind of bullish view coming in on Zomato as of now. Let's now welcome also our another guest who's joining in. Kunal Rambia now joins in. He's the founder of The Street. So good afternoon, Kunal, and good to have you with us too on this special edition. Do tell us, how are you assessing the market move as of now after the last week's volatile action based on the kind of geopolitical concerns that were emerging? Is the worst of correction behind us? Are we on course to again move higher, or do you still feel that this could be interim?
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to Sakshi and Sarendra sir. So if I look at the overall trend of the market, see certainly the markets have turned extremely volatile and jittery near the highs. But if you look at the trend of the Nifty and Bank Nifty, it has remained more or less intact. If I make a simple trend line connecting the bottoms from December so far, I think the Nifty took the exact support near those levels itself. So the support level which I'm watching out on Nifty spot level is 21,950. Till the time we are closing about 21,950, I would consider this correction to be like a buying opportunity. And all those counters which are offering me the proper risk reward ratio, I'll definitely be a buyer on the buyer side of the market rather than thinking of too much high is being done so far.
Okay, a very warm welcome to you, Kunal, and good afternoon. It's always a pleasure to host you on Market Today. Where do you see, in terms of the Nifty, the maximum strength as far as charts are concerned? We have three record highs today. Mahindra and Mahindra up 0.5%, 22,093. Bharti Airtel almost 1,300, and of course Aisha Motors 4465, about 3% higher. Where is your mood set as far as individual stocks within the Nifty are concerned?
So, Suresh, so definitely I would be more keen to go ahead with the Bharti Airtel. The only reason being 3 days back we saw a massive breakout, and that breakout was placed at around 1235 to 1240 levels. And since then, look at the strength, a massive rally with huge volumes, and the volumes which we are seeing was somewhere seen in the beginning of mid of January and not after that. So it seems very clearly that someone is accumulating this counter with strength and then goes into sideways consolidation. I generally love these kind of patterns. So my heart goes with Bharti Airtel. The stop loss on this, or say rather, I would not call it as a stop loss. I'll say support being 1260. So counter anyway by any chance reaches near those levels. I think we can keep on accumulating this counter. Probably at that time the stop loss will be 1240, and the targets, let keep the target open for now. Buy on dip can be a good strategy with a trailing stop loss on this.
Okay, there's something that I'd like to mention across the spectrum as far as telecom is concerned. Sakshi's marked Tejas Networks now up almost 15-16%. This looks like a secular move across the board when it comes to a couple of telecom service providers as also equipment makers. Look at PSU company ITI Limited. This is also rising in sync with the movement that you've seen on Tejas Networks. ITI Limited is the top gainer within the PSU pack, 13% higher, 281.5. We've discussed Tejas Networks, and of course now it's turned out to be Bharti Airtel, which is the top pick as far as Kunal is concerned. Strong moves coming into SBI, Kunal, 764, and at the moment as far as SBI is concerned, the counter is up 2%. Any view that you would have here?
Somewhere from the mid of February, so I think it gave a first breakout at around 730, and since then it entered into a sideways consolidation between 730 to on the higher side being 785 to 790. Right now, again, just yesterday, if you like check the bottom, the yesterday's low was around 730 again, and today we are seeing the bounce coming in. I think this bounce might just continue for 30 to 35 points more. 790 is supposed to be the resistance on the counter. If the counter manages to break that, I think the rally might get extended. So for the fresh buying, one can initiate a buy at 764. The stop loss can just be immediate 755, which is just 9 points, approximately 1%, and the target can be 790. Near 790, we exit the position. If it manages to close above that, we reinitiate a buy with the target of 825.
Okay. Right. I also wanted to ask you, as far as this stock Dixon Technologies is concerned, a little higher ticket price that I'm looking at, but it's been moving very, very strongly, about 3.5 to 4% up can be seen on this one. It's moved to the high point of the day, 78.22. Currently, the stock price is hovering at. How would you really look at this one? Of course, we've been talking about the entire theme around consumer durables, and this company is definitely related to the smart phone space. How would you really look at this one?
Actually, this counter is again a trending counter, not even a single lower top, lower bottom. Yes, we saw some kind of sideways consolidation for the entire month of I think April, but I think this is now poised for a breakout. The only observation on this chart as of now is that in today's session, it has given a gap up open and a continuation. And see the volumes in last 15-20 minutes, there are good volumes also seen on the chart. So I think this counter is now poised for a new rally from here on. The breakout is definitely pending. That's at around 7,900. So with the stop loss of 7,800 on the closing basis, one can initiate a buy. The targets can be 8,250. But I'll advise our viewer to just wait for the breakout of 7,900. Then this can be a momentum trade going forward.
Okay, another stock joins the rally, Sakshi, as far as the telecom space is concerned. Himachal Futuristic, 95.7, this is 4.5% higher. And it joins the rank of Bharti Airtel, Tejas Networks, ITI Limited as far as price action is concerned. There seems to be something big clicking in telecom. Maybe some news which is pending and expected by the market. And all, how should I say, informed circles seem to be taking the long side trade when it comes to this particular segment. What else is moving? Punjab National Bank, 132.80. That's a part of the entire PSU chain that's moving within the banking space. The Bank Nifty itself, 310 higher, 47,893. Let's also look at the pain points in the market, while we never fail to mention where there is a good rally in the making, but there are a lot of stocks which are in pain, especially when it comes to the mid-cap IT sector. Persistent earnings were not appreciated by the market. At one point of time, the stock was down almost 10%. And for the moment, it seems that it's the entire IT space on the mid-cap side that is paying the price. Persistent still down 10% in futures, 3,500. Birla Soft down 3.2%. Emphasis 2.2% lower. Oracle Finance and L&T Technology Services also slipping in trade. Coming to you, Kunal, anything that catches your fancy in these stocks that are bleeding today?
Not really, Shell sir. The only reason being the counters are in free decline mode as of now. If I just talk about, say, Birla Soft, which we were discussing today morning also in our office, the breakdown actually happened 3 to 4 days back, and the breakdown level was 720. And see, there's no stopping; it's just clearly falling. So I would not really try to catch this falling knife. But yeah, if someone wants to certainly short these counters, just on a broader space, we can just say that just keep 2 days back high as the stop loss on the Birla Soft. So the stop loss can approximately be around 715 kind of levels. One can think of shorting these counters. I think this down rally has just emerged, and there is a way to go for these counters. So the preferred counters on the short side are Birla Soft and OFSS, which is equally looking weaker.
Okay, what about persistent systems? How would you look at that? 10% down today after the earnings. Of course, the companies missed the earnings, and of course, they've now suspended in the interim the guidance that they used to give. So that is something that the street is worried about, as well as muted sort of a margin guidance, flattish on that one front as well. But a sharp downtick on this. How would you really look at persistent at 3506?
So, Sakshi, the market has already penalized this counter by 25% from its all-time high. When you look at the breakout level, now this breakout was somewhere seen on 14th of December when the counter was up by around 5%, and that breakout zone was 3,330 levels. And since then, the counter straight away went to 4,400. See the today's low. Today's low is exactly at 3316, near to that breakout level of 3330. So I personally feel that too much of downside for time being is done. I will not definitely be catching the falling knife. I'll let the counter stabilize a bit and then revisit. But I think this 3,350 level seems to be a good support. From here on, I expect the counter to get into sideways consolidation rather than falling more. And near to 3,350 or 3,400 levels, I'll probably think of, start seeing from the bullish side of these counter. but I will not be a seller on this level at least.
Okay, won't be a seller on this one. Power related spaces also on the move. We were discussing IREDA in the morning, Sterling and Wilson. The stock is now up 10% higher after the earnings as well. The revenue went up 50% for this quarter. The company turned EBITDA positive with 54 crores as well. So that one is moving very strongly. I think it's hit a 10% upper circuit now at 617. Apart from this, Skipper is also on the move. I think that's another one, the T&D manufacturer. And again, you see a very strong surge of 10% on this one as well. How would you look at some of these big movers in the power space?
So actually, I'm very bullish on SW Solar specifically. I actually started tracking this counter when it was near to those 300 levels when the first breakout had happened. And since then, I'm just onto this counter in the entire space. Look at every breakout has turned successful. Recent observation on SW Solar is that from January so far, the counter was actually making a negative formation. Today morning, it gap up opened. It actually came down significantly, and from there, see the turnaround, and now it's confirming its breakout. I think it's first time it's giving a closing near to these levels in last 3 to 4 months. So with the stop loss of around 585, one can think of buying SW Solar, and the targets now can be the previous high, which are 750. I'm sharing a positional view, so it's not a trading view, but yeah, the trend seems to be absolutely strong, and one can definitely accumulate with the target of 750.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's the PSU banking sector which is truly lining up for a very decent up move. If you look at the PSU banking Bs, this is the ETF which is run by Nippon AMC. This itself is up 3%, 79.18. Every single PSU stock on the banking space is up. UCO Bank 55.4, 3.5% higher. You see similar gains coming into stocks such as Central Bank of India. We've discussed Indian Overseas Bank shortly. You have Maharashtra Bank at 64.7, showing fairly decent transactions of 102 crore. This is 1 crore, which has just happened, 93 lakhs before that. So fairly significant move happening within the PSU basket. Let me see what Maharashtra Bank's charts are telling. The reason why I mention all this is because all these counters, they are very high beta, low ticket items, and they resonate very well when it comes to the trading community. 64.4 on Maharashtra Bank. Coming to you, Kunal, what are the charts telling you?
Sure, sir. We have been discussing Maharashtra Bank, IOB, and Central Bank almost all together. Reason being the formations are almost the same. Again, on Bank of Maharashtra chart, we saw a massive rally till the beginning of February. From Feb till now, the counterweight was in sideways consolidation, and now it's showing that the comeback story by making the curve formation. And today again is a gap up open and a continuation. I think this time, I think this counter can show us the new highs. I'm very bullish on this. The stop loss can be 59. The first breakout, which still is pending, is above 68. That can be the first short-term target, and above 68, the targets can be 73 to 73 and a half.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the move coming in. The other point I want to mention is, ladies and gentlemen, Nifty 22,345, about 1% higher in the futures, and about 22,340 in cash, 192 points higher, is at its day's high, and it's the banking space which is helping the index on its way up. Another stock which I normally don't mention, but there is a development in terms of corporate action, is Yes Bank, also at day's high, 25.3. This is a good swing trade in the making. A lot of effort on my side prevents me from taking a technical check from Kunal, but at the moment 25.25 as far as Yes Bank is concerned. and this is a sectoral move that is coming in. Let's discuss some news-based stocks. Geofin, needless to say, post earnings a record high, and 38.5. I see very, very decent volumes today, 1700 crores. Kunal, Geofin.
So the trend is very much intact, and if you see, the trend actually emerged on 5th of February when the counter was up by around 13.5%, and it gave a first all-time high breakout. And since then, the trend is clearly on. I think this counter has already achieved its 261.8, which is an extension on the Fibonacci number, and now getting ready for the third target, which is 423.6%, and that's placed at around 450 mark. Yeah, it sounds abnormal as of now, but the trend is definitely on. So it's a buy on dip strategy which can be adopted here. Stop loss will be 360. Any decline till then can be a good buying opportunity. Target can be 450.
Okay, I think we are going to have a blowout on the Nifty, ladies and gentlemen. Reliance ahead of earnings, post market close today, is at day's high, the second heaviest weighted counter at 2963, moving in up about a percent. I normally don't take a view on Reliance ahead of day's earnings, but I'm just marking this. Its impact is visible on the index now at a fresh high intraday. Let's look at the advanced decline ratio on the Nifty. That will give you an idea of what the market is thinking. Okay, 44 out of 50 stocks are in the green, and in terms of index heavyweights, the 10 that I track, 9 of them are in the green. The lone guy in the red is HDFC Bank post earnings. Strong move in Axis Bank, 2.5% higher, 1054. Bajaj Finance, 2.3% higher, 7285. L&T, Tata Motors, Kotak, ICICI Bank. No matter how you look at it, it's a beautiful, beautiful chart and day as far as sentiment is concerned on Dalal Street. 3:15 p.m. last 15 minutes, Sakshi.
Absolutely, and a strong move can also be seen across the broader markets, especially the mid-cap space that's been buzzing very, very strongly as of today. Anything in the small-cap space, Kunal, that you can highlight where you are seeing a lot of momentum being generated?
See, I don't track much of these small caps actually, but yeah, I do have the observation on the National Fertilizer, though it's not a small cap company, but yeah, that's the company which I track very closely. The sideways consolidation is now coming to an end, and the counter is right now trading at 102.35. It's up by around 5%, and it's gathering the momentum also. So I think with the stop loss of 98, one can initiate a buy on this. The immediate target on this can be 120 and followed by 145. I'm very bullish. It's a positional view which I'm sharing with our viewers. The ideal strategy again would be to trail the stop loss once the counter turns in favor.
Okay, among the small caps along with Tejas Networks and ITI, which we've already discussed, KEC is moving strongly, 5.7% higher. Angel One is up by 5.5%. Exide is up by 5.3%. You also have Data Patterns that's moving strongly, 4% higher. And apart from this, Central Bank, Hindustan Copper, we've already discussed some of the metal names throughout the day. Crompton Greaves Consumer is now moving higher in trade. UCO Bank, Union Bank, these are the smaller banks that are moving up. And of course, there's the entire sugar buzz as well, with Sri Renuka Sugars also now pulling up in trade, about 3% higher in trade. CAMS is up and about as well. How do you really look at the entire wealth and broking business as of now? Some of these stocks have been ticking higher: Angel One, CAMS, Motilal Oswal Financial Services, Nuvama Wealth. These stocks have been buzzing off late. Where do you see promise?
See, again, Sakshi, we have been discussing since quite a long time that whenever the counter is in trend, rather than predicting to what extent can go, ideally we should be riding the rallies, right? But I love one of the counters which is still not reached the previous high, and that's CAMS. If you look at the present level, also it's still lower than the all-time high of around 4,000. I think there is a clear target which is available on the chart, which is the previous high. So with the stop loss of around 3,100, obviously it's going to be a little far from the present level because of volatility. So with the stop loss of 3,100, one can initiate a buy. I'm very bullish. I think this counter can show us the levels of 3,600 in a month, 1.5 months, and the ultimate target can be 4,000, which is the previous high.
All right, got that. Very strong move across the markets. They've moved to the high point of the day. 0.9% uptick can be seen on the Nifty, and the big contributors to these gain include ICICI Bank, that's now contributing about 30 points to the Nifty move. L&T is contributing about 27 points. Infosys, very strong move again. 23 points is being contributed by Infi. Axis Bank is contributing 18 points, and Reliance Industries is contributing about 15 points, along with SBI too. About 12.3 times points have been contributed by SBI too. Banking space, of course, 3 or 4 of the banks among the top contributors to the Nifty move right now, be it public sector banks or the private banks right now. Now, your top pick as far as the banking stocks are concerned?
Yeah, I personally, again, come back to the same one of the laggards, and that's HDFC Bank. Only reason being, we can play multiple strategies here. The best strategy here would be to short straddle and long futures. The only reason being the breakout was at around 1485. The counter went up to almost 1560. Again, nearing the support level, which is 1475. So with the stop loss of 1475, one can long the futures right now, and the short straddle can be a good strategy so that remaining 2 days to expiry, 3 days to expiry, we can earn the premium. It's going to be more or less sideways with positive bias. That's the first counter which I would like to share from the large cap. As far as the momentum pick is concerned, obviously we'll go ahead with SBI, because that's showing extreme strength in today's session. Look at the volumes which are getting created on the 15-minute charts. I think that's poised for a new 52 weeks high very soon. So with the stop loss of around 755, one can initiate a buy. The first breakout being 790. We can expect the targets after that to 815 to 820 levels.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's mark some different set of indices. Let's look at the Nifty 200 index, 12,444. This again is at day's high. The point I'm trying to make is that it's not only the Nifty index which is now cruising at an intraday high. Lots of other stocks. Look at the Nifty 100 index, 23,084. Again, day's high. This is almost up 1%. I'll also mark the NSE 500 index. This is the broadest measure, 500 stocks for you at 20,577. This is also up 1 percentage points. And the Nifty next 50, this is the most aggressive of all indices in India. It represents the finest mid-cap companies, the top 50 mid-cap companies after the blue chips, at about hold your breath, 62,000. This is up 1.3%, and there is another ETF called Junior Bees. This is something that I've been tracking since 80 rupees. Day's high 667. It's a carbon copy of the Nifty next 50. So these are the stocks, ladies and gentlemen, which are moving very, very fast and very, very strongly in terms of the rally. I also want to see the advanced decline ratio in the Nifty 500. Okay, out of 500, 358 shares are in the green. We are at 322, and all indices are making an effort to close towards the day's high. That essentially means that there is pent-up demand as far as markets are concerned. The Nifty Alpha 50 index is also at a day's high. There's so many indices. There are about 34, 35 that I track, apart from the 19 that we often discuss on Business Today. All of them, ladies and gentlemen, at day's high. Sakshi.
All right, it's about 3:22 right now. Kunal, would you like to give us any BTST, STBT trades?
Absolutely, it's gonna be BTST itself, and the first counter is gonna be the Capacite Infra. Now look at this small company again. This is a clear trending counter. It's going on since pretty long time. The trend started somewhere in the month of March. It's still making higher top, higher bottoms, and today's trade was a gap up open. It's holding on to the gap. So with the stop loss of around 305, one can go long on Capacite Infra. I think the first target now can be 325. to 330. Again, it might not just be a BTST, but it can even go for 2 to 3 days. The second is CDSL, trading near to the day's high, almost near to the breakout and near to the previous highs. I think with today's mid level, which is at around 1985 as the stop loss, one can go long on CDSL, and the targets can now be 2100. And one counter which I'm sharing is a mild slow counter, but near to the support available. So that's the reason we are sharing this, and that's Nestle India. Look at Nestle India, a broader sideways consolidation, underperforming counter, but this counter has not bridged the bottom of around 24.25 since December. Yesterday's low was 24.25, and today it started gaining momentum. I think this can be a good risk reward offering counter with the stop loss of around 24.20. One can go long on this, and the targets can now be 25.50 to 25.75. So these are three, just not BTST, but for next 3 to 4 days ideas.
Okay. The other counter that just got my attention is ONGC. Again, it's moved to the high point of the day, 277.9 currently. And of course, we were looking at the entire OMC space buzzing since morning, but the upstream were lying a bit low. But towards the end of the session, this counter has suddenly shot up. What do you make of this move, and is it going to be a sustainable move that one can track over the next few days?
Absolutely, Sakshi. Today's candle on the daily chart is clearly a hammer formation. So with the day's low that is at around 274, one can go long on this. And the previous high just 2 days back, the counter was trading at 287. I think that can be a good target. So with the 4 rupees stop loss, you're expecting a target of around 10 rupees, which is 2.5 to 1 risk reward ratio. Extremely favorable and a trending counter. It's a thumbs up on this.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's a crisis of plenty. We are now at 325. Just 5 minutes left as far as markets are concerned. Not only did the index very actively defend 22,200, it's also captured 22,300 as far as bulls are concerned on the Nifty. The Nifty Bank itself is trying to close 400 points higher, 47,960, and hold your breath, the IT index, which has been pummeled black and blue all of last week, is now sort of breathing a bit easy, about 216 points higher, 33,584. Needless to say, all the 19 indices that we track on Business Today and Market Today are ending in the green. It's a nice move coming in after last week's debacle, and the moment we keep on talking, the Nifty keeps on making intraday high. As far as futures are concerned, you have now 22,375 on the charts, which is about 240 points higher. And the good part is, just like Friday, even today the markets are ending at day's high. That essentially shows that there is a decent pent up demand that's coming into equities. What else can I point out? Idea Cellular, the FPO ends today. 2,000 crores worth of transactions happened. It's a little difficult for me to count the number of shares. I think it is 165 crore shares that have traded. Yes, it's going to be 165 crore shares at 12 rupees 80 on the average price. The counter closing about 0.5% higher. Lower as far as prices are concerned. What else is moving? BHEL, ladies and gentlemen, 260.3, because volumes are strong for you. Kunal, what are the BHEL charts telling you?
Sure, sir, these are our trending counters, and of course, I'm very bullish on till the time the trend is on. What we are witnessing today is all these counters actually gap up open and they continue with their rally. So I think with the stop loss of around days low, which is at around 250, one can initiate a buy. I would not really be surprised if it gives a breakout of around 270 tomorrow itself, and the targets can be as high as 285, again 52 weeks high. So yes, with the minimum risk, I think the rally on the upside can be massive.
Okay, rally on the upside can be massive, right? Kunal, you know, it's about 328. How would you really advise viewers, investors to prepare for tomorrow? What is the strategy one should take on Nifty Bank?
So again, Sakshi, the view is very, very clear that the entire consolidation and the correction seems to be over as of now. If I speak about the Bank Nifty futures, which is trading at around 48,000, it has just in last 15 to 20 minutes, it has given a breakout of 47,850. So with the stop loss of 47,750, I'll definitely go long on this index. I think the target of around 48,600 to 48,700 are very likely in next 3 to 4 days. And from here on, if someone wants to play even for the short term or intraday, I think buy on dip can be a good opportunity. Rather than thinking of shorting the markets, I think here the long side can give us better rewards.
Okay, fair enough. Well, thank you so much, Kunal, for being with us on the show and discussing all these strategies and various stock
My
ideas that
pleasure.
you've shared with all our viewers. Just about a minute to go. And the top mover on the Nifty as we are closing in is Tata Consumer Products. Credit to Avni Bhatt for pointing this out at our 12 p.m. show as her top pick, 3.2% higher. It's moved to the high point of the day as well. Along with this, BPCL, L&T, Eicher Motors, Hero Moto and Shriram Finance and Bajaj Finance are the other movers as far as the gains on the Nifty are concerned. On the downside, you just have a far and few between names that are lower. I think only 4 stocks are ending lower on the Nifty: NTPC, HDFC Bank, JSW Steel and Bajaj Auto flattish with a negative bias. These are the only stocks that are ending in the red as of today. Top movers on the F&O space, you have Metropolis Healthcare, Exide, Voltas, you have Hindustan Copper, Bandhan Bank that's moved up 4.5 to 5% higher, Indigo. Along with this is Nalco as well as Dixon Technologies, the big movers as far as the F&O space is concerned. All the sectors of the Nifty close in the green as far as the big moves are concerned. They were from the PSU banking space that again moved up very, very strongly today. 3.3% higher is what the index is closing with. Consumer durables 2.5% higher. Healthcare index 1% up, realty 1% up in trade. You also have the pharma index that's 1.5% higher. Financial services moved up 1% up in trade, and of course the Nifty Bank. We can't forget to mention the moves came in from this one, 0.9% higher. It's ending towards the high point of the day, Shell.
So Sakshi, it's been a fabulous day as far as sentiment is concerned. The Nifty and the Bank Nifty, both of them ending near their day's highs, as also a host of broad indices such as the NSE 500, 200 and 100. It essentially points to pent-up demand being there in the system, and the hard low that we had made, the 1 month low that we had made last week on the Nifty, that seems to have worked very well. In our morning commentary, we had pointed out that the jump has been from 21-week moving average on the Nifty and the 100-day exponential moving average on the Bank Nifty. That itself, ladies and gentlemen, points to a very strong kind of moves that have been coming in. New people are joining this rally, and we hope that you have joined as well in terms of buying good ETFs, buying good mutual funds. Thank you for joining us, Sakshi and me, and from our PCR team, have a good day.
Okay, before I head to my vacation, I do need to wrap up this shoot. Most importantly, I am running low on battery. When you're low on juice, all these smartphone companies, Apple and the Android guys, have now started offering you fast charging. What does it mean for your battery health, especially when you're selling your old device? What kind of impact does it have on the battery and its performance? Is it something that's dangerous? Is it something that is perfectly all right? Are